The Independent Broad-Based Anti-Corruption Commission, IBAC, is Victoria's first anti-corruption body, with responsibility for investigating and preventing corrupt conduct across the whole public sector. In 2013, IBAC investigated allegations of corrupt conduct involving employees at one of Mitchell Shire Council's works depots. Operation Continent identified several issues which increased the risks of corruption occurring at the depot, including poor record keeping, lack of accountability for plant and equipment, inappropriate relationships with external contractors, inadequate controls, including a lack of audits, segregation of duties, and inadequate management of conflicts of interest. Following this investigation, IBAC undertook a wider review to determine whether the broader local government sector is facing similar risks in managing depot functions. IBAC consulted with the Local Government Investigation and Compliance Inspectorate, LGICI, and Local Government Victoria to select a cross-section of 6 councils across both metropolitan and rural councils to participate in the review. Given the diverse range of work undertaken by staff involved in council depot operations, the review focused on 4 key areas of vulnerability identified through Operation Continent. These were procurement, management of bulk consumables, management of small plant and equipment, and leadership and culture. The review aimed to identify common vulnerabilities in the operation of works depots, as well as opportunities to strengthen processes and other controls in ways that build knowledge, skills and corruption prevention practice across the local government sector. IBAC undertook the review in 3 stages, consisting of 1. A preliminary review of policies, procedures and information relevant to the key issues being examined. 2. Site visits to the 6 councils to inspect systems, review control mechanisms, and to consult with relevant council employees. And 3. The identification of education and prevention initiatives at 2 of the 6 councils that minimise corruption risks in works depots. After the 3 stages, CEOs of each participating council were provided written feedback on IBAC's observations during each visit. Some councils indicated they were taking steps to address some of the issues identified and improve processes and practices to mitigate identified risks. In depots, procurement activity can involve purchasing or hiring plant and equipment, engaging specialists to undertake major works, or standing orders for consumables that are used on a regular basis. For this review, key findings related to procurement included policies and procedures regarding competitive tendering complied with legislative requirements and were generally clear. Procurement-related risks did not consistently appear in council risk registers or lacked sufficient detail if they were recorded. Some councils acknowledged that purchase orders are sometimes completed after receipt of invoices. A number of policies appeared to allow employees and work units to bid for council tenders. Good practices observed for procurement at 1 or more councils included development of detailed evaluation plans for high-value procurements, providing information to suppliers that conveys council's expectations of contractors, requiring the approval of more than 1 staff member when adding new suppliers to council's procurement system, advising council executive team of applicants in relation to open tenders to mitigate inappropriate discussions and conflicts of interest. The areas for improvement related to procurement included procurement is a significant corruption risk and therefore should be managed through council's risk register. Procurement training should cover probity issues and corruption risks. Council processes could be enhanced by recording details of all gifts, benefits and hospitality offered or rejected. Councils could also equip staff to confidently decline offers of gifts, benefits and hospitality by external parties. Bulk consumables stored in works depots include items such as soil, sand, fuel, and protective equipment. These low-value items are frequently used and therefore are at risk of misuse. Overall, IBAC found there was significant room for improvement in the management of bulk consumables, with the key findings including only 2 councils had conducted a stocktake of bulk consumables that also exposed vulnerabilities and opportunities for system improvements. Most councils maintained records for storeroom items, but left management of yard items to teams that frequently used those resources. Several councils used electronic systems to monitor fuel usage. Not having accurate records of supply can increase the potential for fuel to be misused. Theft and/or loss of bulk consumables did not appear on any of the council's risk registers. Good practices observed at one or more councils for bulk consumables included councils storing fuel on site and using electronic systems to monitor usage, reconciling regular fuel card reports with usage details to identify significant over or underconsumption of fuel, only approving replacement of items once damaged items have been returned, identifying particular items that should be secured and locked away, checking purchase orders against dockets, and maintaining registers of stock accessed from storerooms. The review identified the following areas for improvement related to bulk consumables. Policies and procedures should provide guidance on the purchase, use and disposal of bulk consumables. Stock-taking bulk consumables would allow councils to identify vulnerabilities and opportunities for improvements in storage and recording practices. Consideration should be given to placing theft and loss of bulk consumables on councils' risk registers. Depots store a considerable amount of plant and equipment for use by council staff. This review focused on small plant and equipment, which is generally mechanical in nature. The review found there were significant deficiencies in the management of small plant and equipment at depots, with key findings including all councils involved in the review had asset management plans, but only a few governed all assets from small plant and equipment through to major assets. A lack of regular and random audits to confirm small plant and equipment under depots' control and assisting councils' broader asset management. All councils had some form of register. However, the theft or loss of small plant and equipment did not consistently appear on risk registers. When theft or loss of equipment was reported, responses focused on internal instances of fraud and did not consider theft by external parties. Good practices observed at one or more councils for small plant and equipment included employees taking tools out of stores were required to do so through a storeman and manual register. Installing on-site security, including swipe access cards and CCTV cameras. Placing identification plates showing the council's name and the plant identification number on small plant and equipment. Approval through a disposal of asset form before disposal can proceed. The areas for improvement related to small plant and equipment included establishing regular and random audits of small plant and equipment will assist in broader asset management, including deterring theft. Disposal arrangements for small plant and equipment should be documented and outline who has authority to approve disposal of items. Establishing a central register of fraud incidents is a valuable tool to facilitate monitoring of trends and identification of systemic issues. Theft or loss of small plant should be placed on council's risk register. Organisational culture and leadership is an important element of corruption prevention. Effective leaders must communicate behaviour expectations to staff and demonstrate agreed organisational values. Key findings related to leadership and culture included some councils recognise and reward staff who exemplify the council's values or exceed performance expectations. Councils adopt a variety of approaches of maintaining leadership visibility, such as attending bi-monthly meetings, permanently locating managers on site, and scheduling regular worksite visits. Approaches to training and development varied. Councils noted it was difficult to gather depot staff together in one place at one time. Council policies are usually made available through the intranet, although not all depot staff have computer access. The good practices observed for leadership and culture included: one council deploys a human resource staff member at their operations centre 1 day per fortnight for staff to consult about relevant issues. A CEO of one council actions all reports of conflicts of interest and personally decides how these should be handled. Involving depot staff in consultative committees, as well as holding listening forums to receive feedback from those who do not have computer access. The areas for improvement related to leadership and culture included: training provided to depot staff should highlight the rationale for particular policies, as well as assisting staff to recognise and respond to corruption risks as they arise. Councils should support cultures that empower employees to have discussions about corruption and prevention issues. Management can assist risk management by insisting that policies and procedures make accountabilities clear and putting systems in place that facilitate their enforcement. The review sought to identify common vulnerabilities in the operation of council works depots, as well as opportunities to strengthen corruption prevention approaches within the local government sector. The review found significant deficiencies in the management of small plant and equipment at depots, a general lack of audits to account for small plant and equipment, room for improvement in the management and accountability for bulk consumables, the need for management to communicate key messages to all staff. Training content and delivery methods could be tailored to operational staff. The review also found the concerns raised through Operation Continent are not isolated, and other councils would benefit from reviewing their practices related to the areas of procurement, bulk consumables, small plant and equipment, and leadership and culture. To download this paper, or for further research and resources, please visit www.ibac.vic.gov.au. Also, register to receive IBAC Insights to get latest news and events, heads up on new reports, expert commentary, early research findings, and invites to information sessions. For news and updates, follow us on Twitter @IBACVic.